Sirens, Slammers, and Service, a podcast for female first responders by female first responders. Hey guys, wanted to pop on here before we got into this next episode and let you know about a couple new rad ideas that we have for the podcast. So, the first one is we have a survey up, and I would love to know what you guys think about the show. I'd love your feedback. I'd love your ideas for the next season. And I'd just love to know what you like and what you dislike about the podcast. And I'm going to sweeten the deal with a $50 gift card randomly drawn from everybody that completes the survey. The survey is going to be in the show notes of all of our shows, so no matter what time you start listening to the podcast at, you'll get a chance to win that gift certificate. The second thing that we're bringing in now is the ability for you guys to leave us a voicemail. You guys can actually call into the show, leave us a voicemail, let us know what you think about the show. If you have a funny story you'd like to share from your time as a first responder, I would love those and showcase those on the show as well. So make sure you guys check out that voicemail feature. It's going to be in the show notes, and check out the survey. Make sure that you get that chance to win that gift certificate. And now let's get back to what we all came here for, and that's another badass female first responder. Hey guys, we are back again today, and today I am chatting all things fitness testing for law enforcement. So obviously, owner of Blue Line Fitness Testing, we do a lot of fitness testing. We do a lot of fitness testing for law enforcement. We offer 4 different types of fitness testing and certification. And then we also offer APREP, which is for Edmonton Police and Calgary Police. We just do the practice testing for that. So the testing that we can certify for is your PAIR test, which is the Physical Abilities Requirement Evaluation. So again, you say it PAIR, like the fruit, not pare or any other versions of what I've heard people say. We offer the COPAT, which is the Correctional Officers Physical Abilities Test. Again, usually specific to people that are looking to get into corrections. However, some other agencies such as AHS do accept it. We offer the POPAT, which is the Police Officers Physical Abilities Test. And we also offer the SOPAT, which is the Sheriff's Officers Physical Abilities Test. So all different ones. I'm going to break each one of them down. I'm going to talk to you kind of about what the requirements are for each of them and how you should be training for them, and what you need to be doing and not doing to get ready for these tests. So I'm going to definitely start with the PAIR. It is the most common. It's used across Alberta for multiple agencies. Alberta Sheriffs use it, Alberta Health Services uses it, Canadian Border Patrol uses it, as well as all of the municipal agencies. So if you want to be a community peace officer with the City of Edmonton, City of Calgary, the Humane Society, any of like the community peace officers that are in rural municipalities, they're going to be looking for the PAIR. So it is our most common fitness test. It's been around for many, many years, and was actually built off of the COPAT, which is the Correctional Officers Physical Abilities Test, which was the first standardized test for law enforcement. It was one of the first ones that was ever created. And from that, there's been multiple different ones that have kind of built off of it. So with the PAIR, again, lots of my listeners, you guys have ran it with me. So thanks again for coming out and running with me. If you've never ran the PAIR before, it's fucking tough. It's a fucking tough fitness test. There are a lot of misconceptions out there about the PAIR. There's a lot of belief that, you can walk it, that it's really easy, that, it's only 4 minutes and 45 seconds worth of running. It's not. It's not any of those fucking things. And so if that is your first conception or like your first belief of the PAIR, fucking ditch it right now, because that's not correct in any way, shape, or form. So the PAIR is broken down. All of the fitness tests are actually broken down into 3 parts for the most part. So the first part is always the responding to the emergency. So essentially for each of the fitness tests, there's going to be a similar kind of obstacle course portion. So what they've built it out as based on bona fide occupational training. So what you would actually need to do in your job. And so they've studied officers, they created these tests based on all of these kind of lab-based results, what you would actually need to do if you were in the field. So the responding to the emergency essentially is what you would need to do in your area. So for the PAIR, that's 6 laps of the obstacle course. It's very wide, spread out. There's quite a bit of running. It includes a 5-foot mat jump every single lap. It includes a set of stairs, 5 stairs up and 5 stairs down every single lap. multiple moving around cones, two 18-inch hurdles, so little kind of hop over, like a kind of mini little steps, and then a 3-foot vault that you have to jump over. And then on alternating laps, you're going to be going down onto your chest or going down onto your back. So basically simulates you responding to an emergency, having to get there, having to navigate all of these different obstacles to get to where you then need to perform the next part of the test, which is the resolving of the issue. So that usually breaks down into our push-pull machine. Again, push-pull machine simulates essentially in being involved in a physical altercation with a client or a patient or a bad guy, something like that, whatever you want to call it in your agency. And then also an escort, a single arm escort. So usually whenever we escort somebody, we have a single arm. We're maintaining that control of that person with that single arm. Where we go, they go. And so that's our push-pull portion. And then the final portion of the test, which is usually not timed. Again, some of the different tests and different agencies run things differently, but for the pair, not timed, is the weighted bag portion. So that weighted bag portion essentially simulates you rescuing or removing your coworker from the situation. So you responded to the emergency, you got there, you had to physically fight somebody, you had to escort them out. While you were doing that, your partner got hurt. So now you need to come back and you basically need to rescue your partner and get them out. So the 3 parts of the pair test. Again, when we talk about our physical fitness testing, that pass time is 4 minutes and 45 seconds. People think, okay, well, I can run 4 minutes and 45 seconds on the treadmill, like I'm going to be totally fine. Or, oh, I run a 5K in 25 minutes, like I'm going to be totally fine. It has nothing to do with being able to run a 5K, with being able to run for 5 minutes on the treadmill, guys. It is nothing like that, okay? So we always break it down. And actually, this comes from a really good friend of mine, Mark, with Redline Conditioning. And it's basically the kind of synopsis of the pair. So the first lap, you're feeling good. You're like, okay, this isn't so bad. Like, your heart rate's up, but you feel pretty good on that first lap. Second lap, you're like, oh, okay, it's like starting to get a little bit harder. Like, okay, wow. Third lap, you're like, holy shit, this is really fucking hard. Fourth lap, which is the lap that we call the wall, is usually where people hit the wall, immediately slow down quite a lot, especially if they went out way too fast on their first laps. And your body goes, what the fuck? What the fuck are we doing? Oh my God, this is really hard. Lap 5 is like just doing your best to get through it. And lap 6, most people don't even remember. And so that's just the first 6 laps of this test. That doesn't even include your push-pull machine, which comes at the end. So after those 6 laps, then you're going over and you're doing 6 180-degree arcs for the push. You're doing 4 controlled falls, so basically 4 burpees in between. And then you're doing 6 180-degree arcs of the pull. Definitely, there's kind of rules with the push-pull machine. You have to have a visible bend to your elbows. You can't be locked out, like pushing the machine in. You can't have your chest leaning on the machine. Different provinces will say you can cross your feet or you can't cross your feet. Different agencies will say you can cross your feet and you can't cross your feet. In Alberta, crossing of the feet, they're definitely frowned upon. So you want to make sure that you can push this machine up, and it's set at 70 pounds. So again, 70 pounds is the average weight of force it takes to kind of wrestle. So you want to make sure you can get that weight up and you can maintain it. Again, a big misconception here, and this usually comes from my weightlifting guys that come in and, they can bench press however much, and they always like to brag and tell me how much they can bench press, like I give a fuck. But, is that, oh, I can bench press, I'm good. It is not a bench press, guys. It's not even fucking close to a bench press. It doesn't matter what you can bench press. The push-pull machine is not about bench pressing. It's about maintaining control and efficient movement. It's actually a lot more to do with your leg strength and your core strength than it is to do with your upper body strength. So again, if you're training for this test, being able to bench press doesn't mean shit. Okay, so start to train your core, start to train lateral movement. Again, lots of times we can move forward and back while we are pushing weight, but then try and take yourself sideways and it's a whole different ball game. So definitely that kind of portion of the pair. And it's absolutely muscular endurance based when you get on that push-pull machine, and you're already gassed when you get there. You still need to be able to have some strength and some fitness when you get to the push-pull machine. Otherwise, you're just going to totally gas out and you're going to keep dropping the machine. Every single time you drop the weight out of the green, you redo another arc. And so you can end up failing because you're there and you're doing that push-pull machine repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. You either time out or you just can't finish it because you're too physically exhausted. A lot of people, as soon as they finish, immediately want to vomit. Again, a lot of people do vomit. So if this is the first time you've ever even thought about the pair, think about working out so hard that you're going to puke. That's the level of the pair. That's where you're going to be at. Now, again, I say that not to scare people, but just to be very realistic. People, and we're seeing this across all agencies, across all provinces, any of our businesses that do this, a lot of people rolling in and thinking that they're in a good enough shape to run this test, and then they fail, and they are shocked that they failed, like absolutely shocked. Some of them, I like think to myself, like, are you fucking kidding me that you're shocked that you fail? You told me when you walked in that you walk every day. Okay, so like if you walk every day, guys, great. That's awesome. But you're at like not even close to bare minimum fitness to pass the pair if you're walking every day. If you're walking every day, what you are hitting is that 150 minutes of bare minimum physical exercise that like the health system recommends that we do is walking, right? If you, and like especially if you're just walking for work. So again, people that tell me all the time like, "Oh, I walk 30,000 steps a day." That means fucking nothing for passing your pair for any of these fitness tests, to be honest. It means nothing. Like if you're walking, you're not doing what you need to do to get ready for these fitness tests. People that are like, oh, I work out at the gym like once or twice a week. You know, I'm really busy. I'm on shift work. Okay, well, again, if you want this job and it requires a fitness test, I think you need to maybe prioritize your life so that working out becomes more of a bigger priority so you can actually pass this fitness test to get the job that you need to be. And again, I know you guys all, most of the time, all my listeners, you guys know who I am. You know I like shoot from the hip and I'm really fucking straightforward and I'm not gonna, basically sugarcoat shit. So I'm going to be super harsh in this podcast. I'm going to tell you how it is because it's driving me bananas getting people in that are like fucking clueless about these tests. Do your research. Do like fucking get on the internet. Go to our website, www.bluelinefitnesstesting.com. We have all of these tests broken down. We have the videos for these tests. We have the actual write-outs of like what each of the stations are. We've got blog articles on the best way to train for these things. Like the resources are out there and people really need to start to take advantage of them. And again, if you've been listening to season 5, every single guest that I've had on basically has said the same thing. Like all of the police agencies are offering run with recruiters or fitness test sessions or come out and learn about it. Like, so take advantage of these things, guys, so that you can make sure that you pass. People that are working out 3 to 4 times a week, awesome. You're hitting the gym a little bit more. But again, what does your gym workout look like? Are you standing around taking selfies? Are you sitting on your phone for 3 to 4 minutes between sets? Are you doing any fucking cardio when you get there? Or are you just doing weights, right? Like these are all things you need to take into consideration when you say that you are training, and I say that with fucking quotation marks, for the pair, that you're working out. Are you actually fucking working out? Or are you just going to the gym to put the gym days in and not actually doing what you fucking need to do when you get there? So again, for the people that fail, I have a very harsh conversation with them about what do you feel like when you leave the gym? If you still feel like, yeah, I'm good, I have like lots of energy left, like I didn't push it that hard today, or like, oh, I pushed it, but it wasn't super hard, then you're not training at the level you need to be to pass these law enforcement fitness tests. You should feel like garbage when you leave the gym. You should be fucking exhausted. Your body should be like, holy shit, I need to fuel, I need to rest, right? Because that is how you're going to feel when you're done running that fitness test. If you don't feel like that when you're training, you're definitely not preparing for the official time when you need to pass. The other things that we need to focus on for the pair are those obstacles as you move through the obstacle course. So majority of people that fail the pair, if they don't fail because of the push-pull, they fail because of the 5-foot mat jump. It seems like it's not that challenging unless you're short. I'm only 5 feet, so that's basically jumping my entire height every single lap. It doesn't matter how many times I run the pair, I touch that mat at least twice, no matter how many times I run it, because I'm short and it's hard, and jumping my entire body height is really fucking hard. And so you're going to want to make sure that that is included in your training. Are you marking out the 5-foot mat jump? Are you practicing it? Don't assume that you're tall and that you can easily stride over the mat. That again is a big mistake that lots of tall guys come in that they don't put enough energy into the jump and they get mat touches. Every single time you touch any part of the takeoff line or any part of the landing line, it's a 5-second penalty. Okay. So if you're touching on all 6 laps, that's an extra 30 seconds of penalties that you have added onto your time. And basically, if you're touching on all 6 laps, you're going to have to be fucking hauling ass to make sure that you can get in under the time. I have yet to see a single person out of the over 3,000 people that we've tested pass with 6 mat jumps. So that's got to be a part of your training. Which leg are you going to take off with? How much speed you need to get in? How hard do you have to push yourself to jump? And then do it when you're tired, because believe me, by lap 6, your legs feel like they are 8,000 pounds and they are not wanting to jump over anything. So you need to make sure that when your legs are tired that you can still make that mat jump and you're not going to get those penalties. The saddest thing for me ever is people that end up with like a 440 or a 435 and they have 4 or 5 or 3 mat faults, and they end up with like a 450 or a 455 and it's the mat fault is what put them over. That's devastating. Or they end up with like a 444 and they get a mat fault and that's what makes them fail. Like, it's devastating to them, it's devastating to me. But also, like, don't be training to barely pass this. And again, Lethbridge, we talked with Lethbridge Police Medicine Hat Police during this season. The fitness test is the bare minimum fitness standard that you need for this career. It's the bare minimum, guys. Like, what you're actually going to do in the field and the amount of work that you're going to actually need to do, which again is another misconception for people out there, is way fucking harder than the pair ever will be. Scrapping with somebody in a corner, waiting for backup, waiting for the response team is the most tiring thing you're ever going to do in your entire life, as you're literally fighting for your life. So if you think that the pair is tough and you can barely pass the pair, what makes you think that you can go work in an agency and potentially be out in the rural roads on your own doing a traffic stop and then wrestling with somebody and getting into a physical altercation with somebody? Or if you're working in a correctional facility and something happens and you're in the top corner cell up 3 flights of stairs and you're waiting for the response team and you're fighting for your life in a cell as an inmate tries to stab you or tries to like basically kill you. Like, if you can't do the fitness test, you don't deserve to be in this job. Right. And like, that is the bare, like, that's the fucking harsh reality of this. You should not just be barely passing this test. You should be working your fucking ass off to have a competitive time. The other obstacle that we find people struggle with in the pair, more so with the COPAT, but in the pair, is that 3-foot vault. It's not really something that you see in the gym. It's not something that you have accessible to you to just be able to jump over and back on a 3-foot kind of wall. But if you can set something up, find, a barricade or something that you can jump over and back, get over it, get down and up as quickly as you can, right? If you're wasting, I always say this when I do my walkthroughs, if you're wasting 3 to 4 to 5 seconds every time you're getting up and getting down on those vaults, you might as well just be getting a mat fault every lap, because there's an extra 30 seconds. Again, in a test that's only 4 minutes and 45 seconds, if you're getting 5 second every, every lap, then you're hitting 30 extra seconds. Like, 30 extra seconds is a huge fucking chunk of time in a 4 minute and 45 second test, right? So we want to make sure, again, you're training to the level that you need to pass that pair. Next test that we run is the COPAT. So COPAT, Correctional Officers Physical Abilities Test, again, geared towards correctional officers. The obstacle course is very short. It's very tight. Lots of sharp corners, lots of angles back and forth, because again, when you're working in a jail, our tiers are small, our cells are small, lots of stairs. There's a fuckload of stairs. And so the obstacle course is set up like that. So you're in the COPAT, you're only going through the obstacle course one time, but before that, you're doing 6 sets of stairs. So in the COPAT, there's 6 stairs up, top platform, and 6 stairs down. In the COPAT, you have to touch every single stair on the way up, the top platform, and every single stair on the way down. So again, really got to work on those stairs. You got to make sure, especially my tall guys, again, they have just a tendency to automatically skip stairs. You really have to drill it into fast feet, kind of like you're going through an agility ladder as you're coming up through those stairs, to make sure that you're hitting every single one and you're not being penalized and having to go back down to the bottom. The COPAT goes from 0 to 1,000 in the first 30 seconds. Your heart rate goes from 0 to max in 30 seconds. It is extremely challenging. And I get asked all the time, which one is harder, the COPAT or the pair? And I can never give what people feel is the correct answer for this one. It depends on your fitness. It depends on your abilities. It depends on your type of fitness, and things like that. I personally found the pair harder than the Copat, but majority of people that I talk to find the Copat much more challenging than the pair. And a lot of mistakes that people make is they go, "Oh, the Copat, it's only 3 minutes and 20 seconds in Alberta." Well, that's a piece of piss. I can run for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, let me tell you, it sure as fuck ain't running for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It is balls to the fucking wall as hard as you have ever done anything for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, at the end of the Copat, multiple people puke. I've had guys that are in insanely good shape finish, look at me and go, holy fuck, that was way harder than I thought it would be. And like these guys are like primo fit. Like they can run this in 2:10, like way under where they need to be. Like their Copat times are phenomenal, and they're finding it extremely challenging. So if you, and again, the issue is that a lot of people have a inflated sense of what your fitness level is. If you are doing rec hockey once a week, or you are going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, I got to tell you guys, sorry, but you're not in excellent physical shape. You're not. Like, you're just not. I'm just going to be harsh. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real. Like, you're not. And so if you're not in optimal physical shape, this test is going to fuck you up. It's going to make it very hard. It's going to be very challenging. Okay. So you start off running, you go around 2 cones, you go over and back on the stairs 6 times. You're doing 6 figure eights of the stairs. And then you're coming through the obstacle course again, zigzagging around cones and going over 3 18-inch hurdles. So again, have to be able to run and hop at the same time. Sometimes people find that really challenging. As a shorter person, again, 18 inches for me is like above my knee height, right? For tall people, 18 inches is like a little whoop, they can just kind of hop over it. So again, train to your body type. If you know you're going to struggle to get over those 18-inch hurdles, start fucking doing it now while you're training. From the obstacle course, you head straight over to the push-pull machine, and in the Copat, you are doing the pull first. So you're starting with 6 180-degree arcs as the pull, and then you move straight into the push, 6 180-degree arcs of the push. Again, similar rules as the pair. There has to be a visible bend to your elbows. You cannot cross your feet in the Copat. That is a hard and fast rule. So if there's crossing of the feet, again, there'll be penalties and warnings, and you absolutely cannot drop the weight in the Copat at any point in time. So if that weight drops in the Copat, you end up redoing all 6 of the arcs, whether it's the push or the pull. So again, this is usually where people fail. So they'll either be all fucked up in their head, not listening to me, and they'll put it down after 5 and have to restart because they think they did 6. Or they get there, they gas themselves out in the first minute of training because they're not working out where they need to be. They're doing intervals that are like 20 seconds long or 40 seconds long. And so once they hit a minute of work, their body's like, holy shit, we need a break. And they can't even get the machine up, or they get the machine up for 1 or 2 and drop it. And then they end up stuck at the machine where they're trying to get it up, and they continue to drop it, continue to drop it, continue to drop it. Basically time themselves out at that point. If you are good on the push-pull machine and you have great technique, and again, we can help you at Blue Line. We have like workshops, we have one-on-one training, we have sessions that can help you get that technique down. Again, come and see us, we'll help you out. Once you're done that, then you're heading over to the hardest part of the Copat, which comes at the very end, which is the 3-foot vault. So in the Copat, the vault is extremely strict. You can only touch the vault with your hands. So if any other body part touches the vault, you're penalized. So if as you're going over it, your knee catches the bar, or your toe catches, or your inner thigh kind of brushes as you go over the top, or your hip touches as you're kind of coming down on the other side, you're penalized, which means you're doing it that many more times at the end. So for every time you touch, you're doing another one and another one and another one. And on either side of that 3-foot vault, you're also doing essentially a burpee. So you're starting out on your chest, you're hopping up, you're hopping over the vault, you're landing with control on your feet, you're going down on your back, and then you're doing a full sit-up to get up. So it's not a roll to the side, it's not pushing yourself up, right? It's not using your legs to kick yourself up to get up. Again, if you cannot do a full sit-up without having to haul yourself up or use your legs or hook your hands behind your knees, you're not ready to run the Copat. You need to be able to do a full sit-up 10 times, and not just 10 times in a row, but 10 times after doing 10 burpees to be able to do this, okay? So full sit up, then you get back up, then you're over again, you're down on your chest. So it goes chest for 1, back for 2, chest for 3, back for 4, chest for 5, back for 6, chest for 7, back for 8, chest for 9, back for 10. And again, if you have touched at any point in time, you're doing extras, right? And this all has to be completed within 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I always say you want to leave at least a minute for the vault, at least 1 minute at the end for the vault, to give yourself that window of time if you do have 1 or 2 touches to be able to squeak it all in time to make it under 320. The vault, again, is where most people either cannot, they just actually can't get over the vault without touching, or they're so fucking gassed when they get there that they can't do it. They either completely gas out and can't physically do it, or they just can't get over the vault without touching, or they've run out of time by the time they get there. So again, COPAT, extremely challenging. It's an extremely challenging test. It's absolutely exhausting. You're going 0 to 1,000 in basically 30 seconds right at the very start. So again, that training is super important. You need to be training high intensity intervals. You need to be sprinting. You need to be doing stairs. You need to be doing vaults, right? Up and overs, burpees, up. Like that vault is very important. Make sure, again, you find somewhere to practice that vault. If you don't live in Edmonton, you can't come to Blue Line, find something that you can do that will mirror what that test is. The third test that we do is the POPAT. So that is the Police Officer's Physical Abilities Test. So POPAT essentially is for police agencies, usually in BC. Saskatchewan also uses it, so Regina Police uses it. Saskatchewan Highway Patrol uses it. Saanich, Victoria, Surrey. Who else uses it in BC? Basically, Victoria Police, they all use the POPAT. The POPAT is the hardest of all of the tests by far. The POPAT takes the worst part of the pair, which is the 6 laps of the obstacle course. They make it harder because they make it a 6-foot jump. Again, we'll break that down because it's just changed for BC, but it's a 6-foot jump. And then they take the back half of the COPAT, which is the hardest part, so the push-pull standards with the no putting it down, and the vault that comes at the end, and they put it all together. They cut the time down to 4:15, and then they add weight. So the push-pull machine is now at 80 pounds, and the weighted bag is at 100 pounds. So it's an extremely challenging test. Again, I've ran quite a few of them through, and the majority of people that run fail. The 6-foot jump gets a lot of people. The vault at the end gets a lot of people. The fact that time is cut gets a lot of people. So if you are thinking of going to BC and getting in with the police there, or into Saskatchewan, again, you're going to want to start training at least 6 months in advance, at least bare minimum 6 months in advance to prepare for that POPAT. Again, extremely challenging. So we'll break down the 6-foot jump. So the 6-foot jump in the original POPAT, which Saskatchewan still uses, it's different than the pair in that it's still 6 feet. You can't touch on the takeoff and you can't touch on the landing. But rather than giving you a 5-second penalty, what happens is you have to go back and do the jump again. So if you touch on the takeoff or you touch on the landing, you're going back to the start cone, like the cone that's right before the jump, and you're jumping again. If you hit it again, you're going back and you're trying that jump again. If you hit it on the 3rd time, your test is done. So that could happen literally on your first lap. You could go around one cone, go around the next cone, touch on the jump, go back, touch on the jump, go back, touch on the jump, go back, and then you're done. Okay? So it is extremely important that you nail that 6-foot jump. Again, 6-foot jump. It's really pretty freaking far, especially if you're short, or if jumping isn't in your forte, or if you don't have the fitness level, because again, you got to think you're doing this on every single lap. So by lap 6, when your legs are gassed, you still have to be able to jump that 6-foot jump. So again, talk about doing some plyometric work, box jumps, work on, some of your speed and agility stuff when you're getting into jumping. All of that stuff, super helpful to prepare for that. The obstacle course is the same. The only thing that you don't do as you go through your obstacle course is that vault every single lap. You just go straight back to your start cone and then you head back out on your next lap. When you hit that push-pull, again, we're talking about COPAT standards. So the weight is at 80 pounds. It has to be kept up for all 6 arcs for the pull and all 6 arcs for the push. You cannot cross your feet. Again, 80 pounds, even though it's only 10 pounds heavier than 70, is pretty fucking tough. It definitely adds an element of challenge to the test. And then from there, you're going over to that vault. And same thing, you're over and back 10 times. If you're touching, you're being penalized, and you're having to do all of this in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So cut 30 seconds off your pair, make the jump harder, make the weight harder, make the vault come at the end. It's a bitch of a test, okay? So again, if you're thinking about going for any of those agencies in BC or Saskatchewan, start training now, start putting in massive amounts of effort to get yourself to the fitness level that you need to be. The last test that we offer certification for is the SOPAT. So again, that's the Sheriff's Officer's Physical Abilities Test. We don't actually use this for sheriffs in Alberta, but it is used for BC sheriffs and for Saskatchewan sheriffs. There is actually another test in BC called the SOFAST, which is a variation of a fitness test for the BC sheriffs, but they will also still accept the SOPAT. SOPAT, very similar again to the pair. It marries up the pair and the COPAT, but it takes out the jump. So it takes out that 5-foot jump. So instead of now having to go jumping over that 5-foot jump as part of the obstacle course, you essentially are just running straight through it. You're over the stairs, around the back cone, back over the stairs, around the cone, over the 2 hurdles, straight back to the start cone, and then you're going again. Again, you're taking the COPAT push-pull after that. So the 6 and 6 with no putting the weight down, no dropping it, otherwise you're redoing all 6, and then over into the vault, again finishing with those 10 vaults for the SOPAT. Different agencies have different times for the SOPAT. So sometimes they'll want it in 4:15, sometimes they'll let it go for 4:45. So if you are running the SOPAT, again, you want to make sure that you check with your agency, check with the hiring requirements to make sure you know what time it is, and let the person know that you're running with. Again, especially me, I like to know. I will cue you to a different time if I know that you need to finish it in 4:15 versus finishing it in 4:45. We always talk about the pair, and again, it's similar for POPAT and SOPAT. You want to basically make sure that your lap times come in really consistently. So you don't want to go out like a jackrabbit and end up like a snail. You know, if you're going out super fast on the first and second laps, majority of people by lap 5 and 6 are basically walking. They don't have the fitness level to maintain that speed, and they gas themselves out in the first kind of minute of the test, which is one of the fatal errors, basically. Usually always consistently leads to a fail. So again, if you're running pair, I say you want your lap times to be coming in between 25 and 30 seconds for a 4:45 pass. If you're running for a 4, those lap times got to be coming in between 20 and 25 seconds, which is pretty fast. It's pretty fast to maintain. And again, one of the misconceptions is people will look and they'll like, oh, it's only a 400-meter run. Like if you include all the running that's in the laps. Oh, I can do 400 meters. I can do that no problem. It is not running straight for 400 meters. It is running, jumping, hopping, climbing stairs, getting up, getting down, like getting over walls. Like it's not just running, guys. It's such a huge misconception. So please do not train based on that. I get calls all the time. Oh yeah, like I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I'm like, it's not the same. It's really not the same, guys. Another recommendation I would say for any of these tests is to book a practice test. Book a practice test. Don't book a practice test and book your official test on the same day. Like don't have like, oh, I'm going to do my practice test on Saturday and I'm going to book my official test the next week after. There's no fucking point. Because if you fail your practice test, which majority of people, the first time they run these tests, they fail, and you already have your official test booked and you've only given yourself a week in between and you are not even fucking close to the fitness level, you're not going to pass in a week, okay? So when you're going to book your practice test, you're going to look ahead. What job do you want to apply for? You want to be, let's go Alberta Sheriff. So you're going to be an Alberta Sheriff? Well, you know what? If you want to be an Alberta Sheriff in the fall, you're going to start training now for your fitness test, not leaving it to the last minute, not putting in your application and then doing the interview and being all stressed about the interview and then being stressed about psych and then worrying about your fitness test, because the amount of people that this happens to, like 100% of people, and this is, again, Alberta Sheriffs, Alberta Corrections, peace officer jobs, like you name it, people do this all the time. It's ass backwards, guys. Do your fitness shit first. Get it sorted out. Make sure that you are fit enough to do this job. The worst thing in the world that you can do is get all the way to the end of the process and realize then that you have 6 months of work to do to get your fitness level ready. Because let me tell you, what agency is going to wait 6 months for you? Not a single fucking one. They're going to move on to the next person that's in the line that may not have done as well as you on the interview or may not have done as well as you on the test, but can pass their fucking fitness test, and they're going to take that person. So if you leave your fitness test to the end, A, you're a fucking idiot. B, you're not going to get the job that you want. Okay, you need to make sure that you have that fitness sorted before you apply. So again, I would say look ahead 6 months. The first thing you're going to want to do is book a practice test. Book a practice. You can book with us. You can book with anybody else. I don't care. Book wherever you are in the world. Book your practice test. Go in and physically actually see what level it's going to take for you to be able to pass this test. Don't just assume you know what it is. Again, you can watch the YouTube videos. You can read the information that's on our website. You can think that you know that you're prepared for it. Until you actually run this test, you have no fucking clue what you are about to get yourself into. Okay? When I ran my first pair in like, oh my God, way back in the day, I want to say like 2004. Yeah, guys, I'm not old. I know. In 2004, there was no place to do practice tests. I was applying for the RCMP and it was like, Kate, in this part of the process, you're going to come in and run this pair. There was no fucking YouTube videos, guys. The only thing I had was to get the handout because like, did we have a website? Probably not in 2004. I'm not going to lie, guys. Probably not. Or the website was shit. I was given a handout at the written test that told me what I needed to prepare for. And all I had was to try and like set things up, run, do the standards that I could, right? Try and make it. In this day and age, guys, you have so many fucking resources to use. Book the practice test. Come in, see what the course is like, try out the obstacles, play around on the equipment, get familiar with it, run the practice test, right? When you run it with us, we'll do a written evaluation at the end. Again, I can tell you how long it took you to do your laps, your push time, your pull time, all of that stuff. We'll break it down for you at the end. And if you're not successful, we can talk about ways to get you there, right? We can talk about the classes you can take or the training you need to do if you don't live in Edmonton, or you can book one-on-one sessions with us. You can come to our open gym sessions. Like there's a fucking plethora of options to help you guys get to where you need to be. And at least then, after you've ran your practice test, you're going to know what you need to work on rather than just doing it in the gym and hoping that you're doing it right. Hiring a personal trainer who's never fucking ran these courses before, who's going to tell you to like, oh, do some weights and it looks like that's a bench press on the push pull. They have no fucking clue, okay? Like there's no point in spending your money on somebody that doesn't actually know what this test is about, right? If they've never ran this test, they have no clue either. So come, try the test, figure it out. Figure out what your strengths are, figure out what your weaknesses are, and then tailor your training based on that. And then start to fucking train. Okay? That's the other key part of this is start to train. Make your training your priority for the next X amount of time until you pass that official test. That should be your sole priority if you actually truly want that job. Okay, so if this is just like, oh, I'm going to apply because I think I can do it. Okay, great. If that's not actually what you are willing to invest your time and energy into to get yourself to the level you need to be, then you're not ready to apply because it's going to take that dedication. It's going to take that determination. It's going to take that commitment over the next 6 months to get you through the recruiting process for any of these agencies. And I was actually asked that as part of an interview prep I was doing last week. Do they make the recruiting processes like purposely hard and stressful and make it, drag it out? And the answer is yes. Yes. I mean, not necessarily always dragging it out, but like, yeah, they make it fucking hard because we want to weed out the people who aren't dedicated, the people who aren't committed, the people who aren't determined to stick through the ups and downs. Because if you can't even fucking do that in the recruiting process, what makes you think that you can put a uniform on and go out in the street and fucking deal with people and deal with all the ups and downs and the shit that's going to get thrown at you if you can't even do it in the recruiting process, guys? Again, being in a law enforcement career takes a fuckload of resiliency and mental strength. And if you don't have it to get through the beginning part, you're going to fucking die in training and you're definitely going to suck ass when you get into the field, right? And you don't want to be that shitty officer. You fucking don't want to be that shitty. And if you do want to be that shitty officer, go somewhere else, please. Pick a different fucking career. Go work at McDonald's because we don't want you. So start training now for that test, right? Do the practice test first, then start to tailor your training. And again, when we're talking about training, it should be high intensity intervals, sprinting. You should be doing sets of sprints. You should be doing burpees, circuit training, body weight exercises, a fuckload of core stuff, leg strength, jumping, plyometric work, right? These are all things that you need to be working on to ensure that you are actually working towards the obstacles that are going to be in these fitness tests, not just working towards general fitness. And this is, again, an issue that I'm seeing. People are training for general fitness. So we go back to, oh, I'm walking or I'm going to the gym once or twice a week. Okay, that's great. You are hitting the 150 minutes bare minimum for health benefits that, Canada Physical Standards is looking for. And that's just to remain a healthy adult. That's not to train for anything. That's not to be working to try and complete one of the hardest fitness tests you're ever going to run in your life. That's just to be like healthy so you don't have a fucking heart attack or get diabetes or die because you're not fucking moving your body, right? Like, so if that's the bare minimum you're doing, guys, again, you're not anywhere fucking close. If we're hitting the gym 3 to 4 days a week, again, what do those workouts look like? What are they consisting of? If you're just doing weights, you're going to fucking die. The amount of big, muscly fucking boys that get in there that are, straight bodybuilders, power lifters, things like that, but they do zero cardio, or their cardio is walking on the stepper while they look at their phone, or walking on the stepper in, like, I swear to God, fucking slow motion while they watch TV. That's not cardio. That's not fucking cardio. I don't give a shit if you're on the cardio machine. That's not fucking cardio, okay? Cardio is balls to the wall, and I say this all the time. When you're doing your sprint intervals, you should feel like you're going to fly off the back of the treadmill. That's how fast your sprint should be. And if you don't feel like you're going to fly off the back of the treadmill, you're not training at the level that you need to. Your recovery then is going to be half of that, right? So you're going to take it down. If you need to walk for a couple of the recoveries, walk, but then get back into that jog, right? So that you make sure that your recovery is an active recovery. And then you're right back into that sprint. So interval training, again, and not short intervals. 20-second, 40-second intervals are not going to get you where you need to be. You need to be training those longer intervals, minute 15, minute and a half, 2 minutes, 3-minute intervals. That's where you need to be, okay? And think quality, not quantity. So if you're giving, say, 10 sprints and your first 6 are really good and your last 4 are garbage and you can barely run, then you stop at 6, because there's no point in training those last 4. You're not getting the benefits of the interval training when you're training those last 4 and they're garbage, right? So if you can only do 6 for now, then you only do 6. And then next week, you're going to push for 7. And then the next week or the next workout, you're going to push for 8. And then the next workout, you're going to push for 9, right? And you're just going to keep building up. And so again, when I say 6 months, this is what I'm talking about. If you right now aren't at that level and it's going to take you a week to improve each set, that alone that's a month right there. That's a month. And if you've left this to the end and you're not within, I want to say 5 to 10 to maybe 15 seconds that you need to shave off your test, you can say goodbye to that job. It's not going to wait around for you. They're not going to wait 6 months for you to get fit to pass this fitness test. Okay. So, that's basically breaking down fitness testing. That's breaking down, again, the different tests that we have. Again, I did kind of mention APREP at the beginning. We do offer training for the APREP. So if you are looking to do the APREP for Edmonton Police or Calgary Police, we can help you out. We do have almost all of the equipment that's required. We do not have the cuffing machine. So if that is something that you need assistance with, definitely check out Run with a Recruiter with EPS and CPS. Go to their sessions, figure out, again, sit down with their recruiters to talk about the fitness that you need. But we have the rest of the equipment. You can run the beep test with us. Again, beep test, super important. You need a level 7 on the beep test in order to pass. And again, that's for EPS, CPS, Lethbridge Police, Medicine Hat Police, right? So Camrose Police. So if you're in Alberta and you're looking at going to a police agency, Grand Prairie Police, again, they'll also be running APREP. Start running that beep test. Get that beep test, start fucking practicing it. A lot of the beep test is technique versus fitness. It takes it's going to take a bit of fitness, especially if you're not a runner, to get a level 7, but you're going to have to work for it, and you're going to have to work on your technique to make sure that you're hitting the beeps and you're hitting the lines at the right time. You're not expending a shit ton of energy in the first couple levels because it just gets faster and faster and harder and harder. You want to make sure you still have gas left for that level 7. And again, the obstacles in the A prep, right? So the wall, the stairs, the dummy drag, the cuffing machine, the push pull machine, there's all different obstacles in that kind of first part of the test. And that all needs to be done within 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Again, misconception, people think, oh, it's only 2 minutes of running. It's good to go. I can do that. No problem. It's not 2 minutes of running, guys. It's not fucking 2 minutes of running. So start preparing for that now. Again, if you're looking into going into policing, set yourself a year out from where you need to be to make sure that you can pass that fitness test. The process usually takes a little bit longer for the policing agencies. So give yourself that period of time so you're not getting to the end and not being able to pass that fitness test, right? You want to make sure that you can get through that fitness. I think I covered everything. If I missed something, guys, and you guys have questions about the fitness test or you're wondering about the different things, again, please check out our website. We have so much information on there, guys, so much stuff. Like, I work really, really freaking hard to make sure that it's all in one place for you, and that there's a bunch of different tips and tricks and kind of ways to get through the courses the best way and things like that. Come and see us. Come do a practice test with us. Drop into any of our workshops. We have classes Monday nights, Thursday mornings, Saturday mornings that you can drop into. We have a phenomenal trainer named Phil who can do one-on-one sessions with you. And we've got, again, the ability to do those practice tests, to sit down with you, to go through those written evaluations, to make sure that you know what you need to be working on, how you need to be doing it, and to get you where you need to be. And for the love of God, don't leave it till the last minute, okay? Don't leave it till the last minute. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and hit me up if you have any more questions. Check out the website, and we will chat with another badass female responder on our next episode. Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, listening, giving me your time, your energy, and your attention. I completely appreciate it. Make sure you check out our next episode with another badass female first responder anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at bluelinefitnesstesting.com. I hope you stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, and watch your six.